Hello and welcome to a new In the Mail, the video where I show you my electronics related mail items. Today we're going to start with the Orange Pi Zero single board computer. So let me just get it out of its box. You get a small, it's not even a manual, just regulatory compliance and safety informations and a few instructions for use. And the Orange Pi Zero, let's take it out of the anti-static bag. As the name implies, this is a competitor of the Raspberry Pi Zero Wi-Fi version. Right from the start, I can tell you two things where they fail competing with the Raspberry Pi. Number one is the community. None of these Chinese alternatives will ever be better than the already matured community around the Raspberry Pi products. And number two, let's say you're a developer which doesn't need that much community help, you will immediately notice this board does not have an HDMI output. You can get an analog video output with the help of an add-on board, but the cost of the board is around $13 standalone and another $4 for the add-on board. So that brings the total cost around $17. How do they plan to compete with the Raspberry Pi Zero with a cost which is at least 2 times higher? The only real advantage I could see for getting an Orange Pi Zero is the availability. It might be easier to get an Orange Pi than to wait for a Pi Zero Wi-Fi to be available in stock. I don't know about any performance issues between the two. The CPUs are certainly different and those would need to be benchmarked to have any say on that. But anyway, I got one of these to check it out, and I also got one of these ABS plastic enclosures, which is designed specifically for this model. So if you're interested, there will be a link in the description below for both of these. Next up, I ordered one of these acrylic cases for my Raspberry Pi Zero. It's very cheap on eBay, just $1 with free shipping, and it will add a nice layer of protection for the Raspberry Pi Zero. I have my board right here, so let's try to put this together and see how it fits. So first I'm going to remove the protective film from the acrylic panel. And unbelievably it's already scratched, so I'm just removing the film and it has scratches beneath the film. Really hard to believe that, but yeah. So this is how it looks after it has been assembled. I believe this is the correct way to assemble it, with this cutout on the back to allow access to just two of these test points. But I couldn't find any purpose for that cutout to be above the HDMI port, so I think this is the correct way to assemble it. As you can see, this one does not have a cutout for mounting a small heatsink on the CPU, but I believe there are models that have that cutout, and you can order one of those if you think you will need a heatsink. But it's quite nice, it looks very nice in this blue color. Also for the Raspberry Pi Zero, I got these micro USB to full-size USB adapters. These will allow me to connect a Wi-Fi dongle or anything similar to the Raspberry Pi Zero, just like that. So you will really need these when working with the Raspberry Pi Zero because it only has those micro USB ports. And you can get these adapters in many different styles, with cables, without cables, 90 degrees angled. This was an item I was planning to use on the Raspberry Pi 4 video, and if you haven't watched that video, there will be a link appearing on screen right now. I recommend you watch it. It's pretty interesting. A lot of hard work has been put into making this board. So as you remember, the board has only a USB Type-C port, so I needed a cheap cable to power it on. Obviously this arrived a few weeks too late from China, but luckily a day before I shot that video I went to a local shop and bought a USB Type-C cable. So right now I have a spare one, a low quality one. I wouldn't trust this to power anything above half an amp or maybe at most 1 amp. The next two items are somewhat related to my bench PC, which is this Intel Nuke compact system. I got one of these short flat HDMI cables because the box will always sit right next to the monitor on my bench and I don't need a long HDMI cable. So this cable feels pretty nice, it's flexible, and I also got this HDMI to VGA adapter. Because I often find myself connecting HDMI output devices to my older VGA monitor on my bench. So these two are pretty handy to have around, and the links for this will be in the description below. Next, I have a few items which are all related to my Baofeng radio. I have the UV5R, and although I'm not yet licensed, I would like to get a license soon. So right now I'm only listening to local repeaters. I got one of these Nagoya NA771 antennas. As you see, it's quite long and I can't fit it inside the frame. This should be better than the stock antenna on the Baofeng radio. I ordered this one from eBay. I didn't get the cheapest I could find because there is a high chance for that to be a fake. So I went for a slightly more expensive listing from a Taiwanese seller. As you can see, it's quite a bit longer than the stock antenna. So make sure you're okay with the length before ordering one, and also I'm not even sure this one is an original one. Well, I can maybe show you a close-up of the connector. Maybe those of you who have similar antennas might let me know in the comments if this looks to be original or not. But like I said, make sure you're okay with the length before ordering one. Make sure it doesn't bother you. I also got this RG58 coax extension cable with the proper SMA connectors that will fit the radio in the antenna. It's 3 meters in length if I remember correctly. This is if I ever plan to install an antenna on the exterior of my window, though I'm not sure if the added gain of an external antenna would be higher than the added losses from the connectors and the RG58 cable. I would have to do some testing to find out, but it's hard to establish that, especially without the proper equipment. I also got these two programming, one of them is a programming cable. There are quite a few options you can program into this radio. So I got this cable. It's basically an FTDI type chip inside, and it connects through the radio specific connector. And it also comes with the CD. With the software you need to program the radio. The second one is called radio cloning cable, and as we can see, it's got the same type of connector on both ends. And not sure what you could use this for. Maybe it will allow you to clone settings from one radio to another. I might have read something about that functionality, but I'm not sure. I just got it because it has the right connector, and I was thinking, what if I want to create my own local repeater that connects to the internet through one of the many services available. So I got the cable, and I can always cut one of the ends off and make the necessary connections to Raspberry Pi. Of course, there would be some additional circuitry required, but I can build that myself. In fact, I also ordered these 1-to-1 ratio transformers for the purpose of building that circuit. I'm not planning on doing that in the near future, but I just wanted to have the parts if I ever decide to work on that. These are pretty universal parts, to say so, so they could be used in other projects as well. I've also purchased 2 items related to the battery of the UV5R, but only one of them arrived. This one is a battery case, and I think this one takes AA batteries if I remember correctly. Let me open this. Yeah, so it takes 6 AA batteries, and you can connect this to your Baofeng radio to keep it running. I was thinking maybe I could hack this case and maybe use some lithium cells inside just to increase the capacity. I also ordered an extended capacity battery, which is basically the same form and shape as this one, but it just has a lithium battery inside. But that one never arrived. Anyway, links for all of these will be in the description below for you to check them out. Our next item is one of these eBay cheap SDRs. It's based on the RTL2832U plus the R820T chipset. There is an interesting story behind this SDR purchase. First of all, I ordered this one in November last year and only received it last week. Yeah, I know, shitty postal service here in Romania, because most of the delays happen right here in Romania in their national sorting center. But anyway, back in November, a friend of mine was experiencing issues with the remote control for its car, the key fob. The car wasn't receiving the signal if you were more than 1 meter away from the car, and it wasn't just his car acting up like that. There were some other cars belonging to neighbors that were experiencing the same issue. So as I was talking with my friend, I said there must be something transmitting on that 433 megahertz frequency, jamming these remote car key fobs. So I decided to get an SDR to investigate the issue. Luckily, within a week or so, the problem completely disappeared, and the SDR was obviously probably 3 or 4 months too late. I even got a 433 megahertz antenna together with this SDR, because I wanted to have something that I could use on that particular frequency. And I also got an MCX to SMA adapter, a fixed one and a pigtail one, to connect the antenna to this SDR, because it, as you see, it has an MCX connector. I'm sure this will be useful someday for another project, so I'm not considering it a complete waste of money. I will use it someday. Our next item is related to the Nokia firewall server teardown video. It's Voltlog number 91, and if you haven't seen that video, there will be a link on screen right now. In that video, it would have been nice if I had one of these serial console cables to test that hidden port. So I ordered one of these in case I ever come across other networking equipment with this kind of RJ45 serial console connection. This is especially found on Cisco equipment, so it might be useful for a possible future teardown. Next up, this is a LED tester. I first saw this device on Andrea Spy's channel quite a few months back, but you know how shipping is to Romania, so it took a while until I received mine. It has this pin header with different current values, but this device was under $3 with free shipping, so I'm not expecting it to have anything but resistors inside, so the current will vary with the forward voltage on the tested LED. I guess it could be useful by not having to turn on your power supply and adjusting it for testing some LEDs. I think I need to put some batteries in, so let's remove these screws on the back. and see what kind of battery it needs. Yeah, so it appears it needs a 9-volt battery. Let me pause momentarily and search for 9-volt battery. Okay, so right now the device is working, and let's try to test some LEDs. Let's test this one on the 10 milliamp connector. Yes, this one is a blue LED. Let's also try it on the 30 milliamp header. Yeah, there might be a slight difference in brightness. Yeah, I can see a difference in brightness. Let's test this one on 10 milliamps. This is a 3mm LED. This one I'm not sure. Let's test it on the 5 milliamp range. Yeah, this is a white LED. So it works, but you have to decide for yourself if this is useful or not. Myself, I don't think I'll be using this one much. I don't think I'll be keeping it on my bench. I have my power supplies right here on my bench, and I can quickly adjust and test LEDs. But I can certainly imagine a scenario where you would have to work with LEDs all day long, and then you would need this kind of LED tester. Our next item is a tip refresher chemical thing, because since I've switched to these T12 soldering stations, I find it difficult to keep the tip of the soldering iron clean. These tips seem to oxidize much faster than the older ones. It could be because of I think they're lead free, and I'm using leaded solder because that's just easier to solder with in DIY projects and hobby projects. I was really wondering if you guys experienced the same issue, and I don't think it's the temperature. I'm not scorching the soldering iron tip. I'm mostly soldering at 280 to 190 degrees Celsius. So I got this tip refresher. It's the Mechanic brand, hoping it would help. So let's give this thing a test. Oh, it's also sealed with this plastic. That's nice. So let's try this thing. I'm expecting some nasty fumes to come out of this thing, so don't inhale what comes out of here. Okay, so not as much, not much fume residue coming out of this, but it really makes the tip shine. It really cleans the tip really nicely. So now let's try the sponge. So yeah, as you can see, the tip just looks much nicer now, and it looks like it will take solder really fast now. So yeah, I think it was worth buying this tip refresher, and I highly suggest you get yourself one of these, either the same brand or another brand. It doesn't matter. You can even get the genuine stuff if you can afford it, but it looks like it does the job. And our final item in today's video is this Lipo battery safety bag. As you know, Lipo batteries do have some safety concerns, and especially these higher capacity Lipo packs used in the RC world, due to their higher capacity and the fact that they are usually run at high discharge rate, and occasionally they might get some shocks. It's likely at some point one of them might fail. So I got one of these safety bags for storing and carrying the Lipo batteries. You can see the size is quite generous. You can certainly fit a lot of batteries inside, and it should keep them safe. According to the product description on Banggood, it's made out of fire retardant fiberglass woven fabric, and should withstand very high temperatures for a reasonable period of time. So it's probably just going to save you some time until you can get the fire extinguisher ready. I mean, don't trust this bag with your life, but still it's some added protection, and it's quite cheap. The cost of this bag was just $6 with free shipping, and I think you can also find smaller ones that are even cheaper. So I highly recommend you get yourself one of these. And what am I talking about? If you're into the RC world and working with Lipo batteries, you probably already know about these bags and probably already have one of these. Anyway, there will be a link in the description below if you want to check it out. And as usual, I thank you for watching this video, and I will see you next time.